What's up guys, my name is Victoria and welcome back to my channel. I am back. I took a little bit of a break, a little bit of a hiatus, but I am back, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that surprised me when I moved here. I think that this video will be really helpful for other expats who are thinking about already moved to Sweden. What are the things that they should kind of mentally prepare for before moving here? I wanted to make this video because when I got here, there were some things that I just wasn't expecting. I think that goes with any country and moving as an expat to anywhere. But for me, there were just 5 things that really stood out to me about the Swedish experience that as an American was just very different, and I am going to talk about those things. So keep watching and I will show you what those things are. I will say these are just things that were personal for me, things that were really kind of surprising. I think if you ask any other expat, they'll probably tell you something completely different, and that's completely valid. These are not negative things by any means. They're just kind of surprising. I don't know. I think that they were just an adjustment, and for someone who's coming from a different experience and a different background, I feel like this could be something that other people could find helpful potentially. So that's why I wanted to come and talk about the 5 things that surprised me and that I wasn't really prepared for before moving here. The first thing that I was not prepared for was not being able to buy wine whenever I wanted. In America, alcohol is available pretty much 24/7, and you can go to the liquor store to just buy whatever you needed at pretty much any point in the night. Not so here, not the case here. Alcohol is actually government regulated. So if you want to buy wine, for example, you go to, they call it the Systembolaget, and the hours are from every morning from I think like 10 a.m., maybe 11 a.m., and they close around 7 p.m. on most weekdays, and then the weekends they close at 3 p.m. on Saturday, and they are closed all day Sunday. So you have very specific times when you can go and buy your alcohol. So it takes a little bit of planning beforehand, which I definitely wasn't used to. And if you knew that you wanted to drink at some point during the weekend or in the week, you had to make sure you got your stuff, and you had to make sure you made your run before around now. I'm making this video in the afternoon on Saturday, so like now is like the final time that you can come. And a lot of people get paid once a month here in Sweden. It's not like in the States where people get paid every other week or the 1st and the 15th. And so the lines can get super long if you go at the wrong time, especially if you go during the weekend that everyone just got paid, because everyone now has a lot more disposable income to buy alcohol, to spend time with friends, and to throw parties and things like that. So don't be surprised if you walk by the Systembolaget in your neighborhood and there's a super long line, because everyone is trying to buy their spirits for festivities, especially now that it's getting colder, it's getting a little bit more cozy, and people are trying to just be a little bit more comfortable in their homes. So yeah, be prepared for planning out when you want to buy alcohol, because that was something that I definitely was not prepared for and definitely surprised me. And there were times when I went and showed up and it was closed and I had to come back the next day, or I just, you know, settled in with a glass of juice or sparkling water, and that was okay too. So yeah, that's the first thing. Not always available alcohol. Okay, the second thing is definitely more of a first world problem, so please don't come for me too hard. I fully recognize the privilege in this statement, but the second thing that I was not prepared for is not being able to get packages delivered to my house. Yeah, it's not like in the States where Amazon, you order and 2 days later it shows up in your front doorstep. Here in Sweden, most people live in apartments. Here in Stockholm, I should say, most people live in apartments, and when you order a package, it comes to you pretty quickly, but you go to the post office to pick it up. You can get it delivered to your house, but it costs a little bit of extra money. And there are certain stores that will deliver. I think some kind of like local, like deliver, like courier services is kind of how I would translate it to someone else who isn't from here. But those are like really small things. But if you ever buy clothes, if you ever buy electronics or things online, you're probably gonna have to walk to the post office to pick it up. It's not too bad. The post office is like a couple blocks away from me, but you know, I'm gonna be lying if I didn't say some days I just wasn't feeling like walking, but I knew I really wanted my things, so I had to go to the post office in the colder days. I can see the flip side. I can see the positive side of it because it does get you outside of the house. Especially when it's cold outside and you want to run an errand, you might not have left the house otherwise, which I think can be a good thing, is getting people outside, especially now that we're all working from home, because there are days when I probably don't even step outside, more so when it was colder than now, but just be prepared for that. It's a really seamless process. Just remember to take a number, get a ticket, get a number, or you'll get yelled at. Don't ask me how I know, but just queue up, get your number, show them your ID, and you'll get your package. Pretty simple as that. But I will say there are some times when I do just miss opening up my doorstep or going down to the mailbox in my building and having my package just waiting for me there, not having to put on nice clothes, just rolling out of bed in my pajamas and picking up my package. But I will say there are benefits to this too, because it gets you out of the house, it gets you up, it gets you walking, gives you a little bit of exercise. So yeah, that's probably the second thing that I was surprised by, so be prepared for it if you move here. The third thing is also related to online shopping, and it is about, I miss not having to pay taxes and duties when shopping online. Scratch that. I knew that I pay taxes when I would shop online in the States, but because most of the companies that I was buying from were either American or just I don't know like what the tax treaties and like tariff laws are, but all I know is when I was buying something online, what the price was what I was paying, plus shipping and handling. But here, if you're buying from a non-Swedish brand, for example, if I was buying something from Everlane or Free People, I knew that I was gonna have to pay duties and taxes when I picked up the package. So I paid for the dress, I paid for the thing, I paid online, I got it delivered, I paid for international shipping, but when you get your email that your package is ready for pickup, because remember, they're not gonna drop it at my door, I have to go get it, you also are gonna pay another charge, and those are the duties and the tariffs or the duty charges for that. I don't know the ins and outs and the details of it, but it's just an extra charge that you are going to have to pay for specific clothes that you want to buy. And that was definitely took me aback at first. I gave me pause. So now I definitely think twice, and maybe I think 3 times before buying clothes from my favorite American brands that I used to frequent back home. But it's okay because I end up saving a little bit of money by not shopping as much, and also I just make sure to hit those spots up when I go back home to visit. So be prepared for shopping online with that. If you want, I've heard that people can, actually I'm not going to say that because I'm not going to say that. Okay, so yeah, that's the third thing that was really surprising to me, was the amount of taxes and duties that you have to pay on goods that you have to import into Sweden. I think it's really good because it encourages you to shop locally and stimulate the local economy, so I really support that. I just miss some of the clothes that I used to get because I am more petite and it's a little bit harder to find clothes that fit me or that come in my height range, so I either have to get them altered or just pay the extra taxes and duties for the brands that that I really like. So the fourth thing has to do with the post office, but it's about recycling. So in most apartments, or at least parts of apartments that I've lived in the States, your garbage and recycling are kind of done together. There is a garbage chute or a place behind your building where you throw your trash, and then you can also put your recycling there as well. Not the case here, at least for me and the people that I know. You have garbage disposed of in the building, there's a room where you can throw your trash out, but your recycling, to get rid of that, you have to do this. You get on Google Maps, you search for recycling centers, and there are many scattered throughout the city, but that's where you have to go to get rid of your recycling. There are these sorting centers just located all throughout everywhere, and you just you find one, you walk there, you bring your recycling with you, and everyone just stands there and just like sorts out all of their trash, all of their recycling, and you have to do that every time you want to get rid of it. And so most people have like bags separate from their garbage bins, which is pretty normal. But to get rid of it, you have to kind of make a plan to go out that day and get rid of all your recycling and sort it. Again, like the post office situation, it's nice. It gets you, out and, getting some exercise or whatever you want to do. But I do miss just like, again, being able to roll out of bed. If recycling needs to get done, just doing that with your trash and just making it a single activity. It's just like taking the trash and taking out the recycling and having it done at once. But nope, you take out your trash, and then when you have the time or when you have bandwidth, you take out your recycling and you go out and you go sort it as well. So yeah, just be prepared for that. It was very interesting to me the first time because I was just kind of like, where do I put my recycling? I don't understand. I don't see it because I recycle. I always have. I grew up with a family that recycled. Child of the 90s, we were all about recycling, but I just didn't know where to do it here. Nobody told me until someone eventually said that's what you have to do, because I was just holding on to all of my glass bottles and plastic packages, and now I know what to do with it. So that's what you have to do if you think you don't have to recycle. You do. It's a recycling center. Okay, this last thing is more of an observation. It's more of a trivial observation, but it's still valid because this is how I feel. I was not expecting the amount of electric scooters that I would see on a day-to-day basis. The chokehold that electric scooters have on the city of Stockholm. It's incredible to me. I've been on one. They're fun. They are great at solving like the first mile, last mile problem with public transportation, getting you to a train station, getting you back from it very quickly. I have no qualms about that. It's just something that I've noticed, and they are everywhere. Teens especially love them, and I can see why. Like, they give you cool adrenaline rush or whatever, but yeah, that's just how I feel. There are just so many of them, and I feel like I'm always dodging electric scooters on the street. I have to look both ways to see if a scooter is just gonna like zoom past me, try to hit me, and I see people following them all the time, but I digress. That's just something I've noticed. I think because we're just way more spread out in America, but even when I lived in New York City, I didn't see that many of them. Maybe it's different now, but the craze has hit this city like nowhere else that I've ever seen. But I fully support people's rights to zoom and zip and scoot however they feel like they want to. So like I said, petty, trivial observation, but it's something you should be prepared for. People are going to be scooting. So get a scooter if you want. I have a bike, so that's my preferred means of transportation, but the scooter gang is alive and well in Stockholm. So that's it, guys. Those are the 5 observations that I found that were so different from my life in the US as opposed to here in Sweden. If you have anything you would like to add, anything that you've noticed in Sweden that's different from your home country, or anything from another country that you've moved to and that is different from the country that you grew up in, I would love to know what those are. Please like, rate, and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.